Hello, everyone, and welcome to our next episode of Estafet for Earth. And today we have traveled from Portugal, and today we are in Great Britain, in England, with David. Hi, David.
Hello, Anna. Hello,
How
thank
are
you.
you?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you.
Great. So
Thank
great to
you.
have you with us. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this.
No problem. It's a pleasure. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, me too, me too. So many of us know you already, but for those who don't, could you please introduce yourself, who you are, and where do you live right now?
Okay, my name is David Graham. I live in a town called Kenilworth in central England. I can't remember what else you asked me to say,
That's it.
but
And
in
what
the
do you do?
UK.
What have you been
Okay,
doing lately? What do you do?
I'm retired now, so I do whatever I want to, really, if my wife allows it. Uh, but so I don't have the pressure of earning money. I just have a pension. It's quite modest, but it's okay. I still do regression therapy. I do quite a bit of spirit release work in one form or another. And I've also most recently taken a stronger and stronger interest in our connection with extraterrestrial beings and our own past lives that may be extraterrestrial in nature or even future lives. So
Right.
that's the sort of place that I'm drawn to right now.
Great. And what have you been doing just shortly before you retired? What was your profession, your
Oh, I
education?
see. Yeah, I worked in computers. I was a computer engineer at a local university.
Wow.
But
And so being into computers, interesting. Now you're with extraterrestrials,
mm,
technology and all. So how did you actually originally arrive to regression therapy? How did you find out about it? Where did you learn?
okay. Um, back in This is a bit of a story. I'll try and keep it quite short. Back in 2006, I was training as a hypnotherapist, and towards the end of 2006, my father died, and my brother was his carer. Now, my brother was very interested in past life regression. I was mildly interested. For me, it was, yeah, that is interesting, but it's just a story, it doesn't really have much impact on what our lives are now. That was my attitude at the time. Uh, but with my father dying, my brother was at a loss, and I offered him a past life session. Well, he was asking me for a past life session, so we had one. And he had a being turn up in this session that regarded as a spirit guide in this session. And we worked together. Now, the session was very useful for my brother. It was very relevant to what was happening for him in his life then. So we had another session and a third session, and it went on. And by the third session, I remember that in a lot of the dialogue that included this spirit guide seemed to be more relevant to me than it was to my brother. And we had a fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth session. And I realized I was kind of learning about the territory. I was learning about what was important and what wasn't important. It's a period in my life, or there's sessions in my life that I often describe as a feeling of falling in love. And I was quite, I suppose it has occurred to me to call it a seduction, but it was a happy seduction. And so it went on like that. So I was learning about how things work together and so on. And I'd always been pretty broke, not much money going, but suddenly I had enough money to get some formal training, which I did with Andy Tomlinson's Past Life Regression Academy, which suddenly had a course starting about a month later following these sessions. So that was that was a particular bit of synchronicity. And there's lots of synchronicities that popping up. Even the way the timing of when my father died and the timing of the cause and having the money available. There's all these synchronicities that are happening that which sort of puzzled me initially, but I accepted it all and we moved on, and it took me down this road. And that's kind of how I got into this.
Right. And did you have then your own practice? Or do you
I
have
started my own practice soon afterwards. Yeah,
Mm.
pretty much soon after. I think before my training had completed, I started training, working as a hypnotherapist, and that included some past life sessions. Yeah.
Right. And in England, how is that the interest towards such therapy? Is it big, or are people open to it, interested to it, about it?
I guess I would say there are sections of society that are interested in it, and there are some sections of society that are not interested or not trusting of it. But it's becoming more and more accessible to people, in my view. So this was going back about 2007 or 8. There was quite a few people interested then, but it's grown since then. I think it's.
Right.
I'm noticing it more in the last 3-4 years, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Kind of progressing. Great. And do
Yeah.
you still keep your practice?
Sorry, say it again.
Still keep your practice? You have clients that come to
Oh,
your
yes,
practice?
yes, I've had one today. Yeah, yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. So I still work. It's a no pressure work, if you like, in that I book them in when it feels right for me. So and I enjoy it. So as I enjoy most of the things I do now.
Right. Do you have perhaps an interesting story from your practice with a client that you could share?
Yes, actually, yes. The story that I was telling you earlier about working with my brother, the final session was very interesting, because he went to a life where he was a student to a master of alchemy. Yet this master of alchemy was a woman, and it was in a society that was led by women.
Mm.
And so of course, there's nothing about this in the history books. Yeah, that's only a small part of the interest, because it was when he entered into that life, he described what he was seeing, and he said, "Oh, she's saying to us, welcome, we've been waiting for you."
Oh, wow.
And that's sort of where I've been doing all this exploring about how these past life work is useful, how you work with it. This suddenly took us to a new arena. It left me wondering, well, are these past lives really in the past? How does time work? What's going on here? And it sort of brought me into this place where it made me think, how does all this happen? How does it all relate to each other? And that took me down an avenue that's been very interesting. Actually, just last year, I had a young man come to me as a client, and a very similar experience happened in where he was what do you call it, an acolyte or a student to a guru. It's one of those gurus that might live in a cave in the Indian hillside. And as he was entering into that life, he said, "Oh, this guru, he knows we're here. He knows we're coming." And so that occurs to me, well, these people, that master of alchemy, this guru, they know that there's a future life coming and being present right there, right then. How does that work? And it's sort of, it just took me deeper and deeper into this world of trying to understand what this is all about. And as I said to you earlier, I've become more and more interested in our extraterrestrial lives and where do they fit in with all this? And yes, so that's probably the most interesting story that comes to my mind when you ask me.
Right, interesting. Perhaps you need to ask the guru next time. How did he know
Yeah,
that the
yeah,
future is
probably
coming?
yeah. But of course, you know, have the presence of mind to ask the right questions at the right time.
Right.
Yeah, so yeah.
And so you mentioned that now you have the interest in the extraterrestrial, and you also mentioned that you work with spirit release right now more. Could you tell a bit more about that? What exactly do you do? And
Okay, I work, you know, I got a bit of training with what's called remote spirit release, where there's a person that channels a guide. There's various safeguards we take, and I usually take the role of a navigator. Sometimes I'll channel, but usually I'm the navigator. And we explore a person auric field and their energy system, and we look through all that, and we engage with the higher self of the person very much, and ensure permissions, and ensure that what we're doing is for the benefit of the person rather than undermining whatever their soul journey might be. And so that's what we do. Check you in for stuff like curses and things like that. You know, so we go through a whole protocol of different points that are aimed to leave a person in a good, healthy state to move forward with their journey. So that's the spirit release part of it. I can talk about. Do you want me to talk about the extraterrestrial bit?
yes,
Was that
did, because this is
okay?
also something you do. Yes.
Yeah, I've just become more and more interested in this. I had this strange thing where I discovered that I had some missing time when I was a small boy, but I was over 60 years later when I became aware of it. Or I was kind of aware of it before, but over 60 years later, I began to understand the true nature of it. There was an extraterrestrial visit, which has been hard for me to understand. I've meditated on it numerous times, explored, and I've got more and more detail from it. I'm becoming more and more aware that humanity is just one species throughout this universe. We happen to inhabit Earth. We hopefully are guardians of planet Earth and supporting her, although I'm not sure that we're always very good at that. And there are many other species around the universe, many of whom have taken an interest in what's happening on planet Earth right now. And in some group meditations that I've been part of, we've actually been able to engage with some of these beings, and we've been able to ask questions and explore some of the motives for them being present and the nature of our relationships. And that's been enormously interesting, and it's really driven me forward to explore more and more in this field. And yes, so I explored about my own missing time period, which was spent with some extraterrestrials, and it's spurred me on to explore more about other people with their experiences and why these extraterrestrial beings are here, the different species that come, and what they hope to gain from it. So it's a happy retirement.
You are having a lovely time.
Yes, I feel as though I'm in the place that feels right for me right now.
Right, you have the opportunity. And actually, that leads me to the question that our previous interviewer Vito Rodriguez asked you a
Oh
question,
yeah,
and that
yeah.
actually you kind of already answered some of it. But the question was, do you really think that there is an ongoing interaction between our us and the alien humanities, and where do you think this is going?
Oh, right. Yes, I do think there's interaction for sure. Where do I think this is going? Well, lots of people are using this word disclosure, where there's mass alien and so on. And that may happen. I'm not particularly fussed. I think where it's going is humanity changing either quickly or slowly into something into beings where we're more aware of our responsibilities as souls on planet Earth, where we're more aware of our place in the universe, and we're more aware of our role and what we have to offer to this universe, to planet Earth, to ourselves, to humanity, and to other life forms on planet Earth. So I feel enormously privileged to be in a place where I can play, or I can discover uh, uh, what's going on at this time and contribute, I hope, into the healthy development of this kind of relationship between us.
Right.
So does that answer the question?
Yes. Is there any thoughts on where do you think this is going, the interaction
Okay,
between
yeah.
us and them?
I would say that I think this is going to a place where we become more aware of ourselves as members of the universe, along with many other species, all with different characteristics, all with something different to offer. Some of them have very altruistic agendas. Some of them have more self-serving agendas. And we're joining that. Well, we've always been part of it, but we're becoming more aware of it, is how I understand it. I think that's where we're going. So there are changes, energetic changes happening on planet Earth, but which is compatible with the energetic changes happening throughout the universe. So we have a part to play, and that's where I think we're going.
I hope it's going to go well.
Yeah, me
And
too.
so, talking about being here on Earth, let's just wrap it up with a little bit of Earth, where we are the members. So our
Yeah.
association, you've been a member already for a long time, and
Mm-hmm.
you also have been a president of Earth at some point. Is that right?
Yeah, yeah.
How
For
long have
3
you
years,
been?
2015 to 2018.
All right.
Um, there was a series of men that were presidents of Earth. I think we're all keeping the seat warm for a woman to come along. And that woman has come along now.
Right. All right. Yes, she did. So,
Yeah.
David, thank you. And just to wrap it up,
Yeah.
as the tradition goes, you get a chance to nominate the next person.
I'd like to nominate Jürgen Sundvall,
Right.
a friend of mine, an interesting person, and I'm sure that he has lots of interesting things to say and lots of interesting insights into his work as a regression therapist, and hopefully interesting answers to the questions you just asked me.
I'm sure that would be great. Fantastic choice. I'm looking forward also to talk to
Okay.
Jürgen. And do you have a question then for Jürgen?
Well, you've only just mentioned that I need to ask him a question before we started this. And I can't think of anything. I still can't think of anything, but I would like to ask him a similar question to what Vitor has asked me.
Mm-hmm.
Who are we? What is our place on this planet, on this universe? How come we have all these different lives? And I wonder what Jürgen's insights into those questions.
Wow, those are big ones.
Yeah, I know. You'll probably kick me when next time I see you.
All
Okay.
right. I will make sure I will ask him. And thank you so much, David. It was really pleasure as always to
Yeah,
talk to you
for me
and to
too.
see you. And I hope everyone enjoyed and stay tuned for the next episode. And I will see you next time in Sweden.
Yeah. Okay. Look
Bye,
forward to it.
everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.